I recently played Resident Evil 4 for the first time. The original, the one from 2005, not the remake. And I absolutely loved it. It is basically my first Resident Evil game. I have memories of playing Resident Evil Revelations, like walking around the cruise ship and stuff, but I've been playing that recently and I don't remember a lot of it. So either I just played the demo or I played it and I forgot a lot about it. So let's basically just say Resident Evil 4 is my first Resident Evil. I tried Resident Evil 1 recently, the original, and I liked the atmosphere and the setting, but I kept starting it over on different platforms because there's so many different ways to play it. And I was unhappy with a certain version, so I tried a different one, and it was just, I don't know. I was getting, I was overwhelming myself rather than enjoying the game. So I stepped back, and some friends online were playing Resident Evil 4. I have it in my Steam library. I thought I'd boot it up and just see what happens, and gosh, it just pulled me in, sucked me in. I had such a great time with it, and I wanted to talk about what I enjoyed about it. It's an old game, right? It's over 20 years old, so a lot has been said about it. I doubt I have much new or original to say, but I thought it would be fun to share how it holds up 20 years later. So I played it on easy mode, which was a mistake. That's the first mistake I made. Easy mode actually cuts sections out. So there's a hedge maze in the castle that the easy mode cuts out. There are other segments where it just cuts it out. I don't know why though. Like, I don't know what exactly easy changes, if it's item drops and I guess cutting these sections out, but I really don't, I regret playing the game and it having cut content. Secondly, the reason I wouldn't play on easy is that when you beat the game on easy mode, you don't unlock professional mode, which is the harder difficulty than normal. So now if I want to play on professional, I have to replay it on normal first, which is also disappointing. So that would be the first thing. Don't play on easy mode. And from other reading online and then having started the game over fresh, it's totally manageable on normal mode. Sometimes it's nice to play a game on easy and not, like, the game's already kind of tense and stressful, so I thought, oh, I'll just play on easy and, I'm not feeling like I want to be challenged, but I regret that. I played the game basically like over the course of 5 days, I think, in a few longer sessions, and that was really fun. Like it's pretty rare that a game pulls me in that much and that I want to just keep playing it and I'm thinking a lot about it. So yeah, that was a really great sign. The night that I beat it, I was in the middle of chapter 4, and then I played all of chapter 5, and I just like sat there for 3 hours, stayed up later than I should have, and beat the game. That was really satisfying in terms of like, yeah, just the momentum of it pulling me forward, like a good book or a TV show or something where you're just like, I gotta get to the end. And on one hand, I love that feeling, but then on the other hand, I think what it led to was me feeling like the game was dragging on a bit, because if I had paced myself and I even broke up chapter 5 into multiple sessions or spread it out across a couple more days, I think I probably would have felt like it was paced better, because I felt like that back half was a little bit of a slog. But on the other hand, there's so much variety into what the game offers that really stands out for me. Is you go from the village, where you have these incredible encounter designs, where you go into an area, there's a bunch of enemies, and the level is designed in such a way that it's putting you in situations that are just so immensely fun to play. You clear the enemies out, the music changes, you can take a deep breath, you can go pick up items and explore a bit, and then move on to the next encounter in the next section. And I really like that pacing in the village. Then you get into the castle, and it kind of ratchets things up a bit. It's more enclosed. You have the chanting in your ears from the enemies, and it gives you a bit more variety in the castle of what you're doing. Like, you have the approach to the castle, then you're in the different sections of the castle, you're in the sewers. Really great variety with the castle. Then it takes you into, is it like the laboratory? I forget, but whatever chapter 4 is, and that feels totally different. You're going through these lab rooms, and the enemies are different. Are those the regenerators that the spikies shoot out of? And then finally at the end, you almost have this like action set piece that feels like Metal Gear Solid 3 action set piece where you have a ton of enemies, you have the helicopter. It's like just a really good variety, which also I think helps with it a lot. So the variety is awesome. That's a really great highlight. That's the other thing I wanted to highlight that I really love is the way the gameplay feels. Because there's not any other game I've played that feels as good to play as Resident Evil 4, that original version. There's something about the way that shooting feels, and the sound effects and the visual effects and the way the enemies move. It is just so satisfying to move around, take out the enemies, move on to the next section, progress, and then the way the maps kind of weave together and connect, it reminds me of the first Dark Souls, where you go somewhere and you connect, and then it connects back to another area you were, and that feeling is wonderful. So I love the gameplay. That to me is the absolute standout, and I think it holds up when you go and you play the Mercenaries mode that you unlock when you beat it, which is basically no story. You have a limited time and you're just taking out enemies. It's so much fun. I've loved playing Mercenaries after I beat the game. Part of what I think is so brilliant about RE4 is the tight enemy design. So the way it works is like the game has a couple of key base enemy types. Like in the village, it's the Spanish grandpa and the Spanish grandma. And then there are variants among those. You have the version with the dynamite, the version with the throwing axe. You've got the chainsaw, Dr. Salvador, right? And the Bella sisters. You've got just your normal no weapon enemy. And the game is able to compose all of these enemies together in such a way that it's fun, it's challenging, and like a group of basically the zombies approach you. You shoot the one that's holding up the dynamite. It takes out the group there. You have another group coming from the left. Maybe you shoot one of them in the knee and then use a melee or whatever it is. But that feeling, that flow state you get into while you're taking out the enemies is so excellent and enjoyable. I really love that about RE4. Just playing it, moving forward through it is excellent. The village that you start in and how it acts as a tutorial, but it doesn't hold your hand through it. Just excellent, confident game design. Love that about it. I really like Ashley and the sort of escort mission that happens. I think what works so well about it is that they give you breaks. So it's like she goes in the dumpster, and then when she hops out of the dumpster, that's actually hilarious. And then she'll kind of go off or be somewhere else in certain sections, and it never felt too tedious. There were a couple of times where she would get kidnapped or get hit and die, and I have to restart a section, but it was never it was never super frustrated. And actually the dynamic of where you're pressing the button to have her stop and then follow you, that actually led to this fun strategic gameplay of like, okay, let me go find a safe spot for Ashley. Pause. She stays there. I take out the enemies. Then she comes towards me. And then we move on together. I really liked that. And it felt like I was actually like rescuing her rather than it just being this like annoying escort mission. So that part worked really well. The castle entrance was probably the part I had the biggest hard time with. Maybe it took me like 15 tries. There's just something about the way you move through it that I would get like hit by the not turrets, the catapults, the flaming catapults, or Ashley would get hit, and yeah, I had to really keep replaying it. But that was actually really fun, and because of the combat and the encounter design, I was enjoying replaying that over and over. So that was a real highlight. The thing I didn't like about the game, and it's not a big deal, but it's like, I could imagine it being better, which I think is what hurts it, is like, the story is total nonsense. Like, it's told in a really weird way. Like, Lewis felt like a nothing character, even though he could have been a really cool, interesting character. I don't know who Ada is. I know she's from RE2, but if you don't know, like, she's just, why is she here? And then you kind of learn about it a little, and then the missions you play as her, but it just, like, none of it really worked to me. It felt slapdash. It felt like, okay, a rescue mission is really simple. It's almost like a revenge story. It's, like, hard to screw up, right? And I don't think they screwed up the story. Like, I don't think it was, like, a horrible story, but it just felt like there were a few things that could be tweaked, and it could be better. And there's a lot of, like, reading these files about the backstory, and, like, you don't really know who Krauser is. Like, but then he ends up being this big, important character, and there's almost too many enemies. Like, you have the, like, chief of the village, and then you have the, like, little guy in the castle, and then you have Krauser, and then you have the end boss, and it's just, like, a lot of their names start with S. It's like Salazar and uh, the other, like, it's just so much. So many villains for such a short period of time, and maybe I played it too fast. Like, I don't know if other people feel this way, but I felt like the story was basically just like, nothing particularly great. But I like Leon and I like Ashley, and I like the dynamic of all of that. So yeah, it's not like it was horrible, but it was definitely the weakest point of the game for me. So yeah, that's my only real big criticism. I like Mike in the helicopter. Like, that's just funny. I like the boss fights a lot. I think, from El Gigante to the return of them to Krauser at the end. Like, they're all unique. They're all interesting. They're all fun. They just go for it. And I think that's what's really cool about RE4, the 2005 version, is there's so many different things they're just trying. Like, oh, you're on a boat. Oh, you're in this, like, almost like platformy, like, trial level or like challenge dungeon area. Like, it's just like so bizarre and weird. And I think part of what I like about it is that it feels like a game. It's not trying to be cinema or, television. It's just like, it's a game. It's got camp. It's owes this debt to the original REs, and Shinji Mikami is sort of returning to the series to kind of give it a new flavor. And I like that it's fun and silly. I like the bottle caps that you get from the shooting gallery. Like, it's just silly, and I think that silliness mixed with the tension, which I felt tense and frightened at certain points, worked really well. And I like that balance that exists there between silliness, knowing it's a game, having fun, it being tense, moments of horror, like when you're in the area, in the, like, not the sewers, but the area with the canisters that you can shoot. I can't even remember what that enemy is, but it's like the right hand of the castle guy. I really like the way the game controls. The default controls, which are tank controls, right? Left and right turn you, forward moves you forward, back moves you back. I played the game on the D-pad to control Leon. I love the way it felt to control and aim and shoot, and the modality of switching between movement, shooting, the menu really worked for me. I liked the pacing of it. I liked, using my handgun, switching to the shotgun, and the way of opening the menu. None of that felt tedious or bad, and the controls felt great. So even 20 years later, even though controls for third-person shooters and first-person shooters, have moved on and kind of standardized, I think this control's fantastic. Feels great. So I played it on my Steam Deck. Ran great on Steam Deck. Played it about half of it docked, half of it, on a monitor and a television, half of it handheld. Ran totally fine, no issues there. And then from there, I thought, okay, I love the, like, arcade feel of it. What should I play next? So I played Vanquish for a little bit, like 3 hours. And I played that back when it came out. I really liked it when it came out. And I enjoyed playing it and going back to it. But it's like, it's almost too fast. There's too much going on. And it didn't scratch that same itch that RE4 did. RE4's deliberate movement, and Leon's kind of slow, and the enemies are slow. I liked the way that felt. And Vanquish was like, cranked up to 10. So that didn't scratch that itch. God Hand is the game that Shinji Mikami made after this. So I thought I'd try that. And it's fun, but it's hard. And it's silly. And it has some of those elements, but it just didn't quite connect. I have to play it some more. And then finally, just playing Resident Evil Revelations again on my 3DS. And it's like scratching a little bit of the same itch, but the combat doesn't feel quite as good. So I'll have to think more and share more about that. But in summary, I loved RE4. It's fantastic. It's aged well. It plays super well. Great game design, great combat and encounter design, and I can't wait to play more RE. I'll definitely go back and play the originals and the remakes, and just absolutely hooked on this series. All right, thanks, bye.